I'm not tech savvy at all. Really not. I do struggle sometimes. But anywho, welcome back to the live with Gaz from Fermented World. Today we are checking in on the American IPA that I brewed. We'll be checking the carbonation, make sure that it's got some lovely bubbles in. Check what it tastes like. We've got a tist, that's good. Now, I did actually put in half the amount of priming sugar in this one, simply because some of them of recent have been extremely fizzy, like beyond actually pleasant, where they're giving me horrible gas. Now look at that. That's lovely. Now, I did note that a lot of American IPAs do have a crystal malt, or what's the other one that gives it quite a dark colour? Crystal, or is it caramalt? Not sure, but did a bit of research, put a recipe together. And do you know what I've just done? I've not even opened the cold one. I opened the one I brought in with the label on. Oh well, room temperature beer. But yeah, it's okay. It's nice and bitter. Do find that a lot of American IPAs that I've had, that style, seem to be more bitter forward than they are as hoppy. It's definitely got less gas, but is it putting the beer down slightly by doing so? Because what I believe's happened, right, in the past, recently, I think it's carried on fermenting ever so slightly in the bottle after the whatever sugars has been fermented from the priming sugar, but it's as if it hasn't actually finished fermenting yet, even though some of these have been at the same thing for... Hello, Nyla. How you doing, man? Hope you're good. So some of these have been at the same gravity for, you know, nearly 4 days in a row. So can I be a mid, please? I don't know what a mid is, mate. What is a mid? A mod? No, mate. This is not my first rodeo. You certainly cannot be a moderator. But thank you for joining anyway. So as I was saying, I think some of them have continued fermenting, which has caused a bit of a problem later on when it's over gassy. Like, I've had some of them where I've poured them into a glass and say that much of the glass becomes foam, which is not what you want. Definitely not what you want. It's problematic because then you end up losing a lot of it, because if you look at the bottom of this bottle, there's a lot of like sediment, and you don't want to be drinking that because that's like dead yeast particles, and it's just definitely not something that you want to put in. Hello, Pinko. How you doing? Nyla says, why? Because I'm not going to give some random dude moderation of my live stream, am I? Why would I go do a thing like that? Because that would just be ridiculous, wouldn't it? And I wouldn't even know how to do it anyway, dude. I'm not that tech savvy, mate. But yeah, the American IPA, it's okay. Flavor-wise, it's really good. It's got a lot of maltiness. It's got plenty of hoppiness. It's got Columbus, Magnum, and there's Citra in there as well. I can't remember off the top of my head what malts are in it. I will tell you, because I do have the recipe here somewhere. The recipe for this is available on my You're a girl. All right, sorry, I didn't realize. I can't really see very well from the very small picture. but my bad. It's got Pilsner malt, it's got light crystal malt, best malt, and caramel malt, and there's even some Munich malt in there, which is what you'd normally use for like a lager or something like that. Yeah, Magnum, Citra, and Columbus, and the same hops again in a dry hop. Now with this one, I did do what's called like a mash out or something. And basically what you do is you increase the temperature. Pardon me. You increase the temperature, which then stops the enzyme from going over, and then, you know, just it stops the conversion of the starches into sugars. So yeah, that's why we did that. And it seemed to have worked. We did get quite a malty beer. In recent brews, I've had quite a few of them that have gone too far, like, you know, they're going down to the gravity of like 1.006, where there's literally next to no flavor left in the beer because all the malt has been fermented. But yeah, I would definitely brew that again. I regret not putting the full amount of carbonation in, and I've got a mild on the go at the moment. I think in America they call it a small beer. Now it's a really dark malty beer that used to be given to like servants, because years ago the water wasn't all that good to be drinking. So a lot of servants and people who worked for people and stuff, they were then, with their meal in the evening, they'd be served what's called a small beer or a mild. And it was pretty weak, to be fair. You know, it was only about 3.8%, so there's like not a lot in there really, but it was a lot better than actually drinking the normal water, because when you brew beer it has to be boiled, which sterilizes everything. What are you drinking? El Ray. This is the American IPA I was telling you all about. I didn't carbonate it with the full amount, and I kind of wish I had now. I mean, it's got plenty of carbonation and it's keeping its head to a certain degree, but it's a little bit lacking in the fizz. Now, it's maybe because I'm used to it being extremely fizzy, but yeah. I mean, mouth feels good. I was just saying that this has got Pilsner malt, crystal malt, which is what gives it that real deep colour. Now, you got a British pale ale, it'd be, you know, almost bloody see-through. It'd look like a flipping glass of piss. Because they tend to only use like crystal malts and caramel malts in like the bitters and things like that. Ever messed with forced carbonation? No, it's not something I've ever done because of the expense of the kit. I mean, I looked into it with mead, like with a soda stream. I think that's probably the safest way to be able to do it. But yeah, again, nah. I just I like things simple, you know. Like my setup, if you've watched any of my brewing videos for beer, you'll see that I'm literally doing it the old school way in a pan. So it is really, really, really simple. Primitive almost, because these days you've got like buttons on things that you can press to then get the correct temperature and it will stay at that. Like I have to sometimes reheat mine if it's cold and it goes to a certain temperature. But yeah, all in all, it's not bad at all. I'll definitely brew it again, but I probably would make sure it was given more carbonation. Or what I might try is 75% of the normal amount. But yeah, not bad. Not bad at all. Quite bitter. It is quite bitter. So do you use any forced carbonation then? Because that would be interesting. I do apologise if you hear any random sounds. The kids are upstairs just pissing about, as kids do. But this is actually my third beer. I've already drank two. One of them was a New England IPA, which is my favourite type of beer, and the other one's that Raspblue. It's because they're not ready yet, but pardon me, they're not ready. One of them's not ready till the 19th, the other one's not ready till the 23rd, but I've got no more beer. It's the bloody weekend, and I've got beer in front of me. Be all right, won't it? Going to buy a setup this summer. Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, what, for forced carbonation is that? I just find everything's just so expensive. You know, it's just, you know, even the simplest electric kettles, you know, like the basic ones, you're probably looking about 400 quid, you know, for the crappiest grandfather going. I haven't got that kind of money. Which is why I drink homebrew. Homebrew for your soul. I did take a look at some of your videos, mate. It's really interesting. It is really interesting. I'm looking forward to another one coming up. You'll have to like, I don't know. I think you said you're not on Instagram. It'd be good to be able to have like a chat with you about it, because I find it interesting, but I don't understand it, which bothers me. So I'm assuming you have to use loads of different chemicals and stuff to do the actual print onto tin. But I can't figure out how you get it from the camera, because it looked like a really old school camera as well set up. But anywho, lots of chemistry. Yeah. I do like science, mate. I mean, brewing's a science in itself, isn't it? You know, you got to have the correct environment for the yeast for it to be happy. I mean, it is holding its head. Like, it's very, very small, but it is holding it. Now, most of my homebrew don't do that. So I'm wondering whether that is partly to the carapils. Who knows? And I'm not even sure what ABV this is, because I didn't write it on it for some reason. Maybe I didn't check. But I believe it's around the 5.5 mark, I think. (1901) camera, dude, that is fucking ancient. I don't normally swear on my channel, but bloody hell, man, that is ancient. 1901 camera. Wow, man. Yeah, that's just mind-blowing. Absolutely mind-blowing. I had somebody on here earlier on asking me if I could make them a moderator. Like, no, jog on. Got one that I use that's from 1898. Bloody hell, man. Wow. I mean, I bet you can't buy the bloody parts for stuff like that either. You know, to buy spare parts, I bet it's like a really niche market. Rare. Things that are like really rare. Bloody hell. Do you ever watch that program called American Pickers? I absolutely love that program. Those two dudes are freaking amazing. The stuff that they find, and it's like you go in and it's just like what looks like a load of rusty junk, and they're picking this out like, wow, man, I'll give you $300. It's like, $300, man. It's just a bit, it's like a dusty sign with like bullet holes in or something. Mental. Absolutely love it. They tried to do an English version of it, called I can't remember it now. Storage Hunter or something like that. Not Storage Wars. It's something else. It's a bit shit, to be honest. But yeah, that's what I was popping on for. Just to do this. Antiques Road Trip. Antiques Road Show, you mean? The British one? I do watch that sometimes because, again, I'm not really like into old things, but I like looking at old things and then being able to say, well, this is how things are now. Like, for example, with brewing years ago was really, really primitive. To say that, you know, they didn't have, like, hops was actually used as a preservative before it was used to flavour beers. Like, I never even knew that. I only found that out this year. And I was arguing with somebody about it. So then I was like, right, I'm just going to bloody Google it. So I Googled it and they were right. I was like, wow, I did not bloody know that. Imagine that. That it's actually there to be a preservative more than it is to actually give the flavour. And nowadays, it's all about the hops. There's insane amount of hops. There's crossbreeds. There's even these cryo hops now. It's something to do with, like, it's kept at some certain temperature or something, and it's a hell of a lot more expensive, but it's got like twice the potency or something. Now, personally, I've never used them other than when they've come in a pre-made kit. Filmed close to you. No, two people driving a classic car around. Oh yeah, I've seen that. Yeah. And they go into all the random. Yeah, I have seen that. Yeah. And they go into all the random little shops, don't they? And they got to compete, then sell it at auction, and then see who turns out the best profit. Yeah. There's a really eccentric black guy in it who's always like got like some jewelry on or something like that. I think he's great, man. He's so funny. He's just his charisma. He's got a bit of a squeaky voice. When he gets excited, he squeaks. Yeah, I have seen that, mate. Yeah. So what have you got brewing at the moment then, people? We've got two people in. I wanted to share some statistics with you, right, actually, while I'm on the ball, so to speak, even though I've lost my sheet that I wrote the stuff down on. So here's some statistics. I like the little Indian dude. Is his name Raj or something? Rajesh. I can't actually place him, you know. I'll Google it when we get off here, man. So this is just a bit of information from the analytics that YouTube gives me. It's like geek data, man. I loved it. So audience ages, right? And I'm going to do it from top to bottom. So the most people that watch my channel, is they're 25 to 35. That's 41.3%. Age 35 to 44 is 28%. 18 to 24 is 22%. And 45 to 54 is 8.7%. 81% of people who watch my videos aren't subscribed. And I've had 14 subs more in the last 28 days than in the previous 28 days. I'm not quite sure why. But yeah, there's just a little bit of a thing that I wanted to share with you all. Because people do come later on and then watch this. I do understand that lives aren't convenient for everybody. Ray always seems to be here. Ray's like Fermented World royalty. How many Asa Glynn? Oh, I'm on that next, dude. And I've definitely got to get another one on the go. I love them. Spiced apple cider. Oh, dude, you need to try my Christmas cider. Go check it out, dude. It is entry level. It tastes like flipping Christmas cake, man. I don't know whether you do Christmas cake over there, but it's like cinnamon, raisins, nutmeg. It's divine. Got 9 popping off. Bloody hell, mate. Industrial. Blueberry hydromel. Hydromel. Remind me what a hydromel is. Is that one that's like low ABV? Where it's like below 6 or something like that? Is that what a hydromel is? Hopped apple cider. I've had a hopped cider before. That was really nice. Rose petal wines. I've got some roses that I'm going to be doing one with. It's just finding the time, to be fair, dude. Strawberry vanilla mead. Banana wine. Banana wine? I'm not sure about that, dude. Yeah, low ABV, yeah. You see, I've think I've done a hydromel before then, but not intentionally. I think the yeast just was like shite. I think it was just a bit crap. I'm not sure that the yeast was able to take on the sugars that were actually there. But yeah, that is 9 meads on the go, dude. Well done. Well done. I've got I bottled the Piment the other day, the grape mead. I've got the banana and strawberry to sort out in a day or two. Then I've got I started those. I did a organic mead versus organic honey versus standard honey, to see what the difference was. That is, and the organic honey just caused me no end of problems. It was splurting all over the flipping place, and it's actually cleared out now, way before the other one has. So whether the yeast has died or whatever, I really, really, really don't know. I got to go check that in a day or two. What else was there? I think that's it at the moment, but I am brewing like a mild at the moment, which again, I think you guys call it a what did you call it? A small beer, which is like, again, low ABV, high malt, lots of flavoured dark beer. Getting things that are easy to crush in the summer months. Yeah, I suppose brewing is seasonal as well, isn't it? With certain ingredients and stuff. I tried to get some lychee for one that I'm going to be brewing, which is it's sort of a homage to a sour beer. I think I've mentioned this before, but there was a sour beer that was just amazing, and it had lychee and other stuff in. I've got all the other stuff, and I might had to buy dried lychee to be able to actually get the full amount of ingredients, but I need the banana and strawberry mead to be out of the bucket because I've only actually got one bucket. But then again, thinking about it, I could just do it in one of the beer buckets. Where there's a will, there's a way. But yeah, excellent. It's good to hear that you got any on. Do you brew your own beer then, Ray? As well as wines and meads, or is it? And what kind of scale do you brew on as well? That would be interesting, because mine are always like micro batches. Even with my beer, I only brew 11.5 litres at a time. It's mainly because I do get bored of beers very, very quickly. I like a big variety of different flavours. I like to have 2 beers on the go at the same time, which then allows you to, not have to drink the same beer over and over and over and over again. But with the meads, it seems to be like, because I've got a couple of friends who come for it and they'll have a bottle each or something, and it's sometimes I only get one to myself out of a batch, and I only do gallon batches of a recipe for the first time. If the recipe's been done before and I nailed it, then I will definitely start to do a bigger batch, like with the Vikings blood that I did, the 3.0 version. Recipes on the channel, dude. Which is just a cherry mead. It's absolutely banging, and it just worked better. Like, the more I tried it, I was like, can I make it better? Can I make it better? And I think I did. I think I did make it better, but I think it gets to the point where you've got to be like, there's not much more you can do with it. It's like you can keep throwing ideas at it, throw in more honey, more fruit, and then you're still going to get the same kind of thing. I need to start a little bit. Most of my carboys are 1 gallon. Yeah, so yeah. And I think a US gallon's different to an English gallon, isn't it? Or British, whatever you call it. Because our gallons are over 4.5 litres, and I think yours are 300 and I'm going to say 76 milliliters, which is like 3.76 litres. And also, do you guys give your meads out to people? You know, when you brew something and you brew a beer, and do you pass it out to friends and stuff, and to get their feedback? Because feedback is priceless, especially my mates, because they're brutally honest, and I love it. If they think it's shit, they'll be like, "Nah, guys, it wasn't that good. There was this," and do you know what I mean? It was like, I like that. I like people that are brutally honest, not just give you a pat on the back because, you know. 750 milliliters usually in a gallon. Okay. Yeah, so yours are smaller then, because I'd get 4 liters from my gallon. See, I had to, when I split the piment, it was because I'd overshot it, because I needed to quickly just whack them in something quickly. I split it and put it in between two of these American style jars that I actually imported from America, because it was cheaper to buy them from America, have them shipped all the way over here, to then buy the same product in the UK. It would have cost me like £30 more. Oh yeah, it's great to have someone that you can just ping ideas off. Yeah, defo, mate. You see, I had a mate who started brewing, but he kind of gave up with it. He's a bit of a flake. I've got another mate who does brew, but he uses the thing called a pinter. It's like a whole self-contained thing. I've used it before, and it does produce reasonably good homebrew, but the only downside of it is you're not brewing your own beer. You're brewing somebody else's beer, because they give you the liquid malt extract. You add water, pitch the yeast, and then so you're just brewing their beer. So it is home brew, but it's not your own. Like, I've gone away from now buying the kits, and I'd sit there and pour over like 3 books, looking at this, looking at that, seeing what the different things are for each style, and then I'll be like, right, well, I'm gonna have a little bit of that, I'm gonna have a little bit of that, I'm gonna have a bit of that, and just see how it goes. I mean, that's what I did with this American IPA. It's good, but it could be better. So I think in the dry hop, I think more. I think it probably needs a big whack of Citra at the beginning. Pardon me, sorry. I've got the gases. And I think that would help it a lot. Yeah. I mean, it's still holding a little bit of its head as well. I've not had that in a homebrew for ages. I'm mildly impressed. So what kind of setup do you think you're going to go for when you do start brewing beer then? Are you going to go straight for electric? Or are you going to do it the way that I do it, in a big pan, and burn your hands all the bloody time? I think there's a simple way of doing it, which is the way I do it. It's simple and it's cheap. It doesn't cost a lot. All you need is a big pan, mesh bag, and you're pretty much sorted. Everyone's got a cooker or a hob. Some people have got these big gas burners that they can use. I've seen some people in America actually in their like garages with these massive big like propane burners heating up the kettle. I thought, wow, that's fucking awesome. I'd love some of that. But again, it's space, and our houses are not as big as yours. Your houses are all massive in comparison. The land that you guys have got as well, you've all got a lot more land than us. As it's all stuck together. Yeah, so you're going for what I was saying, I've seen these people. When I started up, they're the people that I was watching homebrew. And I was like, all right, I could do that on my cooker, you know, because I used to brew the liquid malt extracts. I think I've told you before. I do repeat myself sometimes, so I am sorry if I do. But I started with the liquid malt extracts, and then I was like, but I am just brewing somebody else's beer. So I started lobbing in my own hops and that. And I thought, you know what? How hard can it actually be to just do all grain? You know, actually get the grains, crush them yourself, do the mash, convert them to sugars. It can't be that difficult. And I did it, and I tell you what, I've never looked back. The first beer I produced, I could not believe the quality difference from a liquid malt extract kit to an all grain brew. It was night and day, you know, because I think because they reduce it down to a syrup, that causes it to have a certain, what we call a homebrew twang. It's got a certain flavour to it that's just kind of, you know, it's not off, but you kind of don't want it to be there, if that makes sense. But yeah, so you're going to go for a big 5-gallon kettle. Okay, what's 5 gallons? Is that like 23 litres? 4, 8. My maths is shit, dude. 4, 8, 12. Yeah, about 20 odd litres, isn't it? And then all you need is just a big bag. Because obviously it's nice. It would be nice to have these grain fathers and all the things that's got the bells and whistles. But, you know, it would pay for itself eventually. But I just think it's a lot of money to throw at something, you know. It is a lot of money. I mean, if money wasn't an object, I'd probably have one, just for the ease of it. Because have you seen the way that I sparge? I literally like hoy the bag out of the thing, put it on a flipping bit of mesh, and then stand there with a flipping pitcher, nice and slowly, like some peasant. Been buying a bit slowly. Yeah, you got to though, man. You got to do it bit by bit. You can't just do it all at once. I mean, I started out with what my mum had bought me for a birthday, and you know, eventually the kits grew, and you know, the stuff that I'd bought grew, and it was like before you know it, you've got a whole 3-shelf cupboard full of stuff that's like, you know, for brewing with, you know. And you have to take your time to accumulate the stuff, because although even the way that I do it, it could still be really expensive. I mean, even just to replace the bag, the mesh bag, for me, I think it's about £15. And you get 2 in the bag, in the pack, but they're not indestructible, you know. They do degrade. Obviously, every single time you add heat to them, it's going to, like, you know, weaken it slightly in certain places. And I'm frugal, mate, so you know, I'm there like squeezing the bag, like squeezing the flipping the grain bag, trying to get as much wort and sugars out of it as much, because that's what you've paid for. You've paid for that grain that you're trying to ferment, so you may. Cheers, mate. Thank you. As I said, kids are here and they don't know how to shut up. But they're going to learn how to shut up in a minute once I get off this screen. No, they're all right, to be fair. My kids are good. They just, volume controls are the bit of the problem.
I'm trying to tell him to shut up.
Yeah, I heard you. Cheers. But yeah, it would definitely be nice to have a lot of what I would call the bling of homebrew. But it's not necessary. It really isn't. I've got a big pan, you know, I've got a mesh bag, and I make beer, as you can see, and it's not bloody bad. If you were served this in a shop or a bar, you wouldn't send it back. You might have another one, but again, I can't remember how much this kit actually costs to produce. Normally I do a breakdown because I like the statistics of it. Oh, and my maths is crap, so 3, 4, 5, 6, 62. All the hops. I believe everything apart from the Citra was hops that I already had. And this is what I do. This is how I put a beer together. I know it's a load of scribbles and it just looks like a load of mess, but that's how it starts. And then you change your mind on something and you add a bit more of something else, and you know, that's how the beer is born. So I do brew a beer. Yo, give me a shout out. What's up, Shan? Shout out to Shan. How you doing, dude? Sorry if I missed you there. I was a bit yakking on a bit. But yeah, I just draw from different sources. I think that's the way to be able to brew your own beer without copying somebody else's beer, you know? Because if you're trying to clone something, then you want to try and copy it. Fair play. But if you want to try and, say, brew your own version of a style of beer, then, you know, it's one of those that you've just got to try and get 3 good home brewing books for beer. That's what I'd say. I'd recommend that. If you're starting out, get 3 good home brew books. I've got a couple that I can recommend if you want me to. If you do want me to, just drop a comment when this is uploaded, and I'll put the names of the books that I'd recommend. The ones that I personally use as well, where I draw from each source as to what kind of beer it's going to be. And even the beers that, like, so these are all the homebrewed beers that I've done. Let me show you. So when I started out, right, I started out by doing the kits that were pre-bought. The grain was already pre-bought. Now, this is all of them that the instructions come with. So all of them there. So we've got, some of these are my own as well, but we've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. We're at 20 and we're probably halfway through. Yeah, so you get the point. I've done a lot of them. But I am only an amateur and enthusiast. You know, I have to Google things. I have to go check things, double check things. I did have a friend a while back who was really well clued up. What does Mr. Spock say? Infinite diversity in infinite combinations. I don't know, does he? Is that what Spock says? I ain't got a clue, mate. I have seen Star Trek, obviously. I haven't been living under a rock, but it was never something that I really got into. But yeah, just draw your sources from loads of different places and you know, put it together. Give it a go. What's the worst that could happen? Okay, you might not carbonate it enough, but to be able to do the 75% carbonation, it's going to be an absolute ball ache. Because I'd have to do, instead of just doing 1 scoop into it, I'd have to then do 2 scoops into each one, like, you know, half a teaspoon and then quarter teaspoon to be able to get the carbonation which I think this needs. Because 1 seems to be too much, but half just isn't enough. I might buy some carbonation drops. I've used them before, but I didn't like them. I thought it gave it a really weird flavour. But I might give it a go with a couple of them again. Anyway, that is gone. It was lovely. Flavour-wise, I could probably deal with the carbonation. What I'm going to do is I'm going to bottle the next one the same, and I'm going to see whether I just get used to it. Now, sometimes the bubbles helps with the aroma, because as you smell, you also taste. So as you're taking a drink, you're actually breathing in at the same time. So the flavour of the beer and the scent of the beer comes in all at once, doesn't it? It's like with wines as well, with anything. I might actually open the bloody cold one now. That's actually a good idea. I'm going to do that. Why the hell not? I am going to get gone though, pretty soon. Because it's time for the kids to go to bed. It is 10 p.m. in the England. Oh, that's going to be so much better now. It's going to be cold. But I might have over poured it. Been a bit greedy. Might have got a bit of the sediment. Oh, that's so much better. So much better when it's cold. Can't believe I picked up the one that was flipping room temperature. I mean, that's got a lovely colour. It really has. It looks cloudy to you, but it's not. It's actually see-through. It's crystal clear. I don't know why it looks like that. It might be where the light source is coming from it. But it is good. And another great thing about homebrew is there's always plenty of it. You know? Okay, you should actually wait until somebody said to me, right, or I read it in a book or something like that about maturation. Maturation? Oh, I don't know how to say it. However long you bloody mature something for. They said that for every point of sugar left, so if you've got 10 points left, so 1.010, you're supposed to leave it 10 weeks. 10 weeks! Mate, this was bottled on the 3rd of this month. Okay, I'm only having like samples. This one was bottled on the 19th of last month, and I'm drinking it already because I've got no other beer. You know, it's as simple as that. Needs must. I want a couple of beers. I have loads of beer. Why wouldn't I just bloody drink it? Whether it's ready or not. And even if you do mature it for the time that it's supposed to, there's no guarantee it'll taste any better. Now, some people will say, yes, it will, but I've had beers that I've drank early and I've had them again later on, the same beer, like just left a bottle at the back of the cupboard, come back and it's, you know, it's not been much different. So, yeah, I suppose everyone's a bit different though. Some people are a bit more on it, some people don't really care. It's pretty stuff. Yeah, it is, it's good, mate. I did have I'm sure you know what Sierra Nevada beer is, don't you? Of course you do. How would you not? It's an American beer. We get that over here, and that is a nice beer, man. I did have a clone of it from the company that I buy my grain from, but it wasn't actually all that close to it. You know, when you do it side by side, it wasn't that close. Now, we've got an ale over here called Old Peculiar by a brewery called Theakston's. Now, the clone they did on that was top notch, man. I put them side by side, and if I didn't already know which glass it was in, I wouldn't have known which one was which. It was that good. Now, you know, that's good. And the brewery, sorry, the place where I buy my kit, they actually do collaborations with local breweries. So the brewery will give out the recipe to them, and then you can brew their beer in your house. You know, it's next level mental. It's lovely. I love it. Next up, I have got either I call it a kvike, but it's pronounced queek, and it's Norwegian for yeast beer. And we've had them before in the past, and they're really, really nice. And I've also got an English pale ale that I was going to do. But I was going to mess around with this. But what I want to do first, before I mess with it, is I want to make sure that the recipe is sound. This has got loads of British hops in. First Gold, Brewer's Gold and Target. But yeah, it's quite a simple recipe. We've got some extra pale in there, Carapils, Cara Munich, and it's pretty simple. It uses English ale yeast. The Kvike uses its own style of yeast, which is a Kvike yeast. Is it Kvike or Queek? Kvike? I don't bloody know. I'm probably murdering the pronunciation of it. But yeah, this one's a bit more into it. But again, this is all just using up hops that I've got in the hope that I can produce something that's drinkable, because I don't want to waste the hops, because like I've said before, I can only buy 50 grams of hops at a time. So I don't want to buy 50 grams of hops and then end up wasting it. Been to Sierra Nevada Brewery. Oh my God, dude, I'm so jealous. In Asheville, California. Carolina, sorry. Was awesome. Food in the restaurant was tits. What does that mean, dude? Does that mean it's good or bad? I'm assuming it means bad. But then again, tits are good. So, I don't know. I'm not sure what you're poking at there, lad. But yeah, we're going to see what happens with these. Because I won't waste things. I really cannot abide waste. To the point where I was narrowing everything down to like within a flipping, I don't know, it was like within micrograms of each other, like, and a half gram, and I'm not buying more hops. Even one of the beers that I'd brewed, recreating a kit that I'd done before from another brewery, one of those collaborations, I just used the different hops for what it was going to be bittering with, because I was just like, well, I'm not really going to be like, it needed 5 grams, right? The minimum amount I can buy is 50 grams. I'm then going to have 45 grams of this flipping hops, which I'm trying to get rid of. I'm trying to use old hops and stuff. Now, I did do a Citra IPA. Now, I didn't upload the recipe for that because it did not taste nice. It really didn't. At first, it tasted okay, but I'm not sure, something happened down the line and it really tasted bad. A few of us was like, yeah, that's not good, Kaz. But shit happens, you know, it does. Life goes on. Yeah, that would have been awesome, Sierra Nevada. So do you know, what, I'm trying to think of the name of the brewery now. Some dude in, I think it's New York. Brooklyn Brewery. We get their beers over here, man. And they've just started releasing some, like, we get the lager and we get another one that's quite nice. But they do have the some like really crafty ones coming through now. They did a saison, which is like really nice. I don't know if you know what a saison is. It's like a seasonal kind of beer. Normally got like fruity, spicy notes in there. Pretty good, but I can't drink too many of them. They're kind of like what would you class as like a farmhouse beer or something like that. Normally brewed at a higher temperature. But anyway, I drank a hopped strawberry cider. You can use hops in your cider as well. Yeah, I've brewed a hopped mead before. And I haven't hopped a cider, but I have drank a hop cider. So, you know, I was saying that I got a mate who he brews in the system called a pinter, where it's like an all-in-one system. Like a plastic container. It's got vents and stuff like that. You just bung all the stuff in, add your yeast, add water, and then after a certain amount of time, put it in your fridge so that it crashes all the yeast out and stuff like that. You use one of them, and it was a dry hopped cider, and it was bloody gorgeous, man. You know, it just tasted so different. It was more alive than what a cider normally is. Because cider, I like ciders, but they're normally a bit dry for me. But if I'm going to drink a cider, I like a dry cider. So I don't like these fruit ciders that are like, you know, got loads of different flavours and pomegranate and all this jazz. Can't be arsed with that. Cider's just cider, really. Unless you're going to put lavender in it. Put some lavender in your cider, dude. Oh, so good. Yeah. Right, I really do have to get gone. Thank you for everybody who's joined. And thank you for everybody who watches. Thank you for everybody who has subscribed as well. Do you know what, right? We've nearly got, I want to say 442 subscribers. And not one of you has been begged to subscribe. Now that's big respect from me to you. Because that's not me. I'm not here to bother your ear and say, like and subscribe, like and subscribe. I don't care whether you do. I'm still going to carry on doing what I'm doing. I'm still going to carry on doing lives and drinking beer and talking to Ray because he's always here, look. Got to try lavender inside it. Oh, dude, it's next level. I tell you what you need to do is you need to buy a certain lavender called Butterfly PT. Like PEATEA. And it's called butterfly lavender. It looks a little bit different to like the normal lavender, but then again, I'm not sure what kind of lavender you get over in the States. But it has like a bulb with like a little top hat on. Butterflies absolutely bloody love it. But when you brew with this, dude, it will start a certain color, like bluish, and as the acidity changes during the brewing, it changes flipping colour, dude. It's next level, mate. It really is. And lavender in any beverage whatsoever, is calming, it's soothing, you know? It's kind of comforting is the word. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Getting a bit excited about lavender there, wasn't I? Sorry about that. Must be the booze. But again, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, and everything in between. Have yourself a lovely evening. Take care now, and I will see you all very, very soon. Bye, Ray. Take it easy, bud. Going to try it, dude. Have a good night. And you, buddy. See you later, fellas, and ladies, and everything in between. Take it easy.